Hey, what's up guys, and welcome in to the garage. On today's video, we're going to highlight the steps that you need to take in order to successfully navigate changing the front rotors and brake pads on a 1999 GMC Suburban. The day that this Suburban came in, it was really quite a messy day. And the reason we had to get it done was because of the safety concern that was happening on the front driver's side of this Suburban. You see, the rear brake pad was completely disintegrated and it was pushing in to the rear of the rotor and really engraving that rotor. Sounded terrible, wouldn't stop. It was actually quite concerning. It was raining on the day that I did this, and so I had to put a canopy over the work area and did my best to stay clean, as you might see in this video. But it was challenging. However, I was able to get it done with success and get the Suburban back on the road safely at the end of the job. Now, you won't be able to see me conduct the change on the driver's side, and that's because I had some technical issues with my filming, unfortunately. However, you will be able to see as we pick up the job on the passenger side of the Suburban. It really is a rinse and repeat process here. So anything you see me do on the passenger side, replicate that on the driver's side, and you'll be able to successfully do and complete this job of your own. Now, this particular setup on the 99 Suburban may in fact be cross-compatible with some other years or even some other models of a Chevrolet, but do your research and make certain that these steps are the same that you might need to accomplish on your rig. Now, I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Please feel free to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. We've got a lot of projects coming up in the future that we'll be putting out, and I appreciate you guys very much. We'll see you next time.
So let's take a look at this one and see what we got. Right off the bat, I can tell that the pads are needing to be replaced. And this rotor's seeing better days. So let's get to work. All right, first step is gonna be getting these dust covers off of the bolts. And we're just gonna repeat all the same processes we did to start this job on the other side. Again, this is a 3/8 inch Allen wrench. And on this side, we're gonna be pulling up towards us to loosen it. Opposite of the driver's side where you go down. That one was definitely in there nice and tight. All right, we're gonna get these unscrewed and we'll go on to the next step. All right, so right off the bat, we can tell that this one wasn't as bad as the driver's side, but certainly the brake pads show sign of wear. And, you know, the rotor has seen better days, and who knows how old it is. So it's gonna be happy to get replaced, isn't it? So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and take this front brake pad off here by prying on it. Here Here we go. Yep, sayonara. Again, we're gonna leave this brake pad in place, and that's gonna act as some leverage here for our C-clamp as we push this back in. All right, so we've got our C-clamp on here, and we're gonna go ahead and start applying some pressure here. Again, I'm using the open end of the wrench technique. It just, honestly, it's a lot easier than using my hands, especially in the beginning stage here. Nice and slow, as we talked about on the driver's side. You don't want to rush this, and you know, as you're compressing that back inside of that slave cylinder, what's happening is you're pushing air back through the brake lines, and so you're going to have some bubbling up at your reservoir, and you just don't want to go too fast and end up pushing brake fluid back up through the reservoir and causing a mess in your engine bay. Our ultimate goal here is we're going to compress this all the way back in. All right, so that's it. We've compressed it all the way back in, and now we can undo our C-clamp and go ahead and remove this rear brake pad. Still had a little bit of life in it, but we're gonna go ahead and get rid of it. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and remove these pins. There we go. There's one pin out. And this one I think is going to give us a bit more trouble. All right, so we were able to get the pins out of the cylinder housing, and now we're going to go ahead and work on removing this front rotor and getting this taken care of and swapped out with the new front rotor here for the passenger side. And what we're going to do here is just knock on this dust cap. That's going to create just a little bit of room, a little bit of space, and there we go. You can see you stick your flathead screwdriver in there and just pry it open. There we are. All right, so we can see our retaining nut here and our cotter pin, and we're just going to repeat the steps that we did on the driver's side, and we're going to loosen this retaining clip here of the cotter pin, straighten it out. There we go. Put that in our magnetic tray over here. And so now we've got this nut, 30 millimeter. This one's on tighter than our driver's side was. And let's see if we can't find our 1/2 inch here. There we go. Doesn't take much. And I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up by hand the rest of the way. Now remember the process here. We're going to take the front off first, the front wheel bearing, and then we're going to put that retaining nut back on, and we're going to remove the rear wheel bearing. There we go. Okay. And be careful while you're doing this. You don't want to go too quick and have that wheel bearing get everywhere. So now that the front one is out, put that retaining nut back on. And we're going to grab from the back and pull. And there we go. Nicely done. Take the retaining nut off, and we're going to get our new front rotor out, get our grease, and get ready to reapply. As you probably can tell, it has stopped raining, which has been a huge benefit. Hopefully the rain holds off. I've got my canopy over my work area, so it hasn't been that bad, honestly, but it is always nicer to not have to deal with the rain when working on vehicles. Okay, so we've got that greased up. Now we're going to work on greasing up our new rotor. And I'm going to reapply some of this grease onto this wheel bearing I'm using once again. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to want to seat this evenly, as we talked about the first time. And I don't like the way that went in there. So what I'm going to do here in this instance is I'm going to put the rotor back on and pop that rear bearing off and do it over again. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to use just gentle taps here. To get it into place, and that is much, much better. Now that we have the rear wheel bearing installed in the new rotor, we're going to flip the rotor over and we're going to work on installation here of the front wheel bearing. And again, we're just going to start greasing her up. All right, now that we've got everything greased up, we're going to go ahead and install the rotor back on. There we go. Careful to keep that front bearing in as you're pushing that front rotor on. And what we're going to do is we're going to have this retaining washer here. Once again, it's got a little notch in the washer there. It can only go in one way, and you'll be able to see it by placing it on the notch that's in the threaded bolt. There we go. And we're gonna put the retaining nut back on. I'm gonna get it on there and finger tighten it, and then we're gonna find the slot where our cotter pin went in. And it should have been right around 4 o'clock somewhere. There we go. This one was actually up somewhere around 2 o'clock. Looks like we can get another turn in there. And I think that's all we're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna put it right there. There we go. Okay. Holding the head of our cotter pin in place, we're gonna turn it. I'm not good left-handed, as you guys can see. We're gonna swap hands here. Put that back in place. All right, now let's find our dust cover cap here. Looks like there was some sort of gasket that was on there. We're not gonna reuse that. We didn't actually have one on the driver's side, so we're just gonna leave it off. We are going to clean out this goop out of here, and I'm gonna fill it up with some red and tacky here. All right, there we are. So we've got our front rotor installed here, our replacement rotor, and now we're gonna work on our brake pads. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do here is we're going to remove our old gaskets here, and we're gonna get those tossed out. As a reminder, we've got a total of 4 gaskets in the chamber. And we got to work to get this guy out of here. Let's see if we can do it. All right, there's one. There we go. There's 2. All right, we're gonna flip it around. Sounds like the rain is coming back, folks, so we're gonna be getting wet here in a minute. There we go. Here we go. There's 3. That one came out super easy. There's 4. All right. So we've got 4 of those to replace and 2 outer grommets. Let's get to work. What we're going to do here is we are going to grease these up as we put them in. I feel like this one's gonna cause us some trouble. We're gonna start over here. Putting my little finger in the backside as I maneuver the ring with one of my fingers from the other end, and eventually get it seated. There we go. It's a little tricky, but just have some patience, you'll get the feel of it. All right, now we're gonna do what we'd call maybe the other side here. Let's stick that in there. That's a little weird. Here we go. Just about got it. It's a little funky in there right now. I think I got it twisted around somehow. There we go. Just had to run my finger through there, get it seated properly. All right. Now for the other side. Yeah, okay, that was nice. That was easy. Okay, now for the top side. I'll tell you one thing, if you have a large finger, you're gonna have to find out potentially a different way of applying this, because it just won't work. I've been in some tight spots before, but this is up there. See if I can get the screwdriver and finish this one off. There we go. All right. Nice. That one's in there now. Now we can go ahead and get our two new black pieces here and install them. As you guys can see, I've given up completely on gloves at this point. There's going to just be a lot of goo gone in my future, or whatever that stuff's called. There we go. All right. So now that that's in and we've got all those gaskets seated properly, now it's time to push the pins in. And we're gonna go ahead and lube these up as well. The way I do this here is I go ahead and put the bolt in. And here we go. Lots of pressure. First one. Second one. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and lube up and grease up this other pin here. And we're gonna do the same practice on the other one. All right. All right, we've got our pins back in successfully. Now it's time for our brake pads. We've got our front pad here and our rear pad. Let's go ahead and get them greased up. And again, remember, don't touch the brake pad surface itself with any grease. It's important to keep it dry. And that just snaps in, just like that. Now let's go for the front side. They definitely don't give you a lot to work with here. And these here are compression. There we go. Okay. And there we are. We're going to push it right there. And it snaps into place. You can hear it. You'll know when you got it right. There you go. Brake pads are in place. Now it's time to slide them on the rotor here. There we go. Just a little love there with a mallet. get us moving in the right direction. So we're gonna start by finding the pin here on the bottom first. That was the successful venture on the driver's side, and I feel good about it. I think I found it already. So we're gonna try to see if we can start threading it in. Yeah, we've got it. All right, now that we've started our threading on the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and move to the top. We're gonna get these screwed in and come back and finish it up. All right, guys, we got it all tightened up. We're gonna put the new dust covers on here on the back. Nothing like putting the last components on, a job well done. Super excited. Let's get the tire back on and get it sit down. Looks like we did a good job. Everything was clean. Put it back. We're done.